Man, we're getting so close to the end of this season. I'm just not ready to be, away from my Walking Dead for very long.
Season always just flies by. It's really crazy. It's like that spell between Thanksgiving and Christmas, maybe. I don't know.
Well, and part of what you said there coming in was cut off because your mic was not properly in the right.
Am I ever really on the podcast? Am I just talking
unfortunate
for fun?
We need to talk.
Jeez, I should have known.
But no, we've got episode 13 has been complete.
Yeah.
Do Not Send Us Astray is the name of the episode, and I'm not gonna lie, people. Sometimes will accuse you of kissing the show's ass but I really dug this episode. I was very into it.
I'll kiss the ass. I'll stick my tongue up there, man. It's worth it for this one. I mean, I'll do some stuff. Let's just stop it right there. It was a good episode. They took the momentum from last week and they just carried it on through.
Just kept it moving.
Yeah.
What an episode!
As
now
well it should be.
Maybe you. I was talking to someone. Maybe it was you. Somebody. Maybe I. But think about this, man. Not only did Simon go against Negan and kill all of Jadis's people, but now he's went against Negan and attacked the hilltop and gotten a lot of saviors killed. When he and Negan come face to face again, we know it's going to happen, man. He is in some deep duty.
Yeah, I mean, Simon has squandered Negan's forces. I mean, it probably took him years to build up this army. I mean, what? They've got like a truckload of guys left.
Yeah, I mean, it was such a good battle for the hilltop. We were talking, and I said, I was telling my girlfriend too, when they were creeping across the yard in the dark, I'm thinking, I'm no military expert or strategy expert here, but I would imagine in a gunfight, when you get like a kind of to a point like that, you don't just creep right up the middle. You know what I mean?
I guess Simon's just really underestimating the hilltop. He thinks they're a bunch of hayseed farmers. They're probably hiding in the basement or something.
Yeah.
Clearly that was not the case.
Well, and he called it himself, with Dwight. He's like, they don't scare. They keep coming. You know what I mean? Like, these aren't. But some people he's definitely taken a governor approach to the whole situation. Negan, as we're, and people will argue it, but we're starting to see that Negan really does seem like, in his own twisted way, he wants to save people, or what he considers to be saving people.
I mean, he sees people as a resource.
Right.
Yeah.
And Simon's just like governor, just kill them all. If they don't fall in line, just kill them.
Yeah, just scorched earth. Yeah. I mean, he is really coming out to be a real psychopath. I don't think he cares if anybody's left at the end of this.
And everybody wants him to die, but actually what I would think would be really cool would be to have Simon get away from the Saviors and just become another villain. You know what I mean? Because it's just kind of, I don't know, because the Negan thing's been drug out too, but at the same time, like, it would be, because we all know that Simon's probably going to die in the next episode or two. Maybe Jadis will tell Negan about the Saviors killing all of them, and then Negan will give her the whole, that wasn't me. I'll give you Simon. If that's what you want.
Perhaps much like the governor, Simon will go on walkabout, find a nice little couple, or what was it? The governor found some wonderful people and kind of found his heart again.
Yeah, kind of, and then he lost it.
Find a single mom. That's right. He found a single mom and her sister or whatever, yeah.
Yep. I do like that in this episode, because we know, now Tara has been pierced by what we think to be or could possibly be an infected
she looks tainted,
arrow or bolt. But comic spoilers. So if you haven't caught up to the all-out war storyline in the comics, please tune away for like 2 minutes maybe and then come back. But do you think that this is kind of taken the place of Rick's arrow that he caught in the comics? Like Dwight shot her with a untainted arrow so that Simon wouldn't kill her?
That does seem to be what's going on, which Rick's got a little head wound, but I don't know that necessarily happened with a tainted weapon or anything.
Yeah, because, Dwight stepped up and shot her with the arrow, and I think it's because he knew that Simon was going to kill her if he didn't. And, I'm like I said in a podcast or two ago, man, I didn't like Dwight when he first appeared on the scene, but I really like Dwight now, man. I mean, I can understand his conflict. I think he's a very conflicted character, and I kind of feel for him.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of the case for me in the comic. Like, it takes a while for Dwight to grow on you.
Yeah.
It really does.
But, and let's think here. So we're going through, so much happened this episode. So we got to say goodbye to Tobin.
Oh, yeah.
Dear sweet Tobin, that guy that never was anybody's favorite, but you always enjoyed seeing him on us. You know,
He's just kind of a lovable, giant, oafish guy.
Yeah, it's
Well,
just like
wasn't
the
that
guy
oafish,
down the
but-
street that would come and help you fix your car if you had, you know what I mean? And so now Tobin's gone. One of Carol's, I guess you could call it somewhat of a love interest, right? They had kind of a spark. It just never.
It was their squeeze, sure.
Yeah, but she of course left, and that was. But yeah, so a love interest for Carol. It's kind of sad to see Tobin go, but I'm going to tell you what, man, it was really a boss ass way that they let him go.
Oh yeah,
Being like the original, you know, the first. He was, I guess, the first to turn, right?
Yeah.
And then he comes in. He's just this big guy. So you imagine this big giant zombie. I really liked how they kind of got back to the horror roots.
Oh yeah,
in this episode.
Yeah, this episode had so many great dynamics, man. Like when the siege is happening, it really felt like an old western, like Magnificent Seven or something. You know, they're rallying around the wall, getting ready for the banditos to to come in, and then like you said, then the like classic Night of the Living Dead kind of feel, man.
Yeah,
Really
back to
good.
bringing zombies being a threat, because when we watch Negan and Rick fight, in which, I mean, they're both just so badass that to them, walkers aren't really much of anything. But, they were fighting in they're fighting in a room that is on fire and swarming with zombies, and they're still just carrying on their fight like a double whammy, and it doesn't mean anything to them. So it was cool to kind of go back to the basics and have an episode where zombies were once again a big threat. And it kind of took me back to the prison. Remember the prison in, what was it, season 4, where everyone was sick? And they were starting to die and reanimate. And that one time that it was several of them that got loose, and Maggie, ran in to save Herschel when he was struggling with the zombie to get that breathing apparatus out for Glenn.
Yeah, it took me back to the prison as well.
Yeah, I thought stuff. it was really. I just can't say enough good things about this episode.
Man, Tobin chomping into the doctor. It was Tobin that got the doctor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, doctors just have a very short life expectancy on this show. Just like get a bodyguard specifically for the doctor.
Tell him you're going to stay in this very guarded room. You get whatever you want. We're going to treat you like royalty. We're going to keep you elevated away from everything. I mean, you are like the human embodiment of gold here.
I'm telling you. Like the most
priceless.
At least one of the most important members of the community. Just they can't keep him alive for some reason.
I mean, without a doctor and kind of knowledge or medicine, I mean, like a simple cut could be the end.
Yeah, like a broken arm, you're done, pal.
Yeah,
done.
I think that's the writers, and it's kind of I guess, kind of one of the dumber parts of the writing with this is they're just further trying to force us to, be like, Sadiq is going to be, which I do like Sadiq. I mean, he seems like a cool guy. The guy playing him, I actually think that he could be a good character if they write him the right way. I'm not, anti-Sadiq because of his stupid ritual that got Carl killed.
Yeah.
Like some people on the internet are just like, screw Sadiq, his stupid mother's ritual got Carl killed. I like Sadiq so far, but I feel like they killed that doctor just to further like drive home that Sadiq is important to the story. He's now the only doctor because they've killed the other Dr. Carlson.
Yeah.
So, and now this lady. And I like the scene where he comes in kind of like a new hire, and she's just giving him hell, and he stands up to her and is like, just telling her what it is, and she's like, I like you. And then she died.
Yeah.
A little bit later.
And that part of the episode kind of reminded me of Scrubs or MASH, maybe. Like I said, so many different genres just getting mashed together and squished between my toes.
Yeah. I kind of feel, for me, and this was, I think you were with me, we were both kind of irritated with Tara, with that whole trying to kill Dwight thing and all of that.
Yeah.
I will say a bit of flip-flopping, as The Walking Dead tends to do. You've got first Daryl going, we'll save that son of a bitch and we'll keep him alive, though. And Tara's like, no, I'm going to kill him. And now they've kind of flip-flopped, and Daryl's like, screw that son of a bitch. We're going. But I do understand why they feel that way. Daryl just sees it as Dwight ran off, rejoined with the Saviors. Dwight shows up with the Saviors. He's attacking. So I get why Daryl is back on the we should kill Dwight as soon as we can train, and now Tara actually realizes that he saved her life. But I mean, again, some flip-flopping with the characters, and some people complain about them constantly doing that.
Well, Daryl's whole thing was, just like he's got to live long enough to fulfill his purpose, and I guess he was, he was legit with that. I mean, he's lived to fulfill his purpose. So hey,
now we can kill him.
Guy, yeah.
But yeah, I hope maybe some people that weren't as fond of Tara, can kind of. Did I say terror? I was watching the show, The Terror. Tara, hopefully anybody that had kind of some issue with her, maybe now because I mean, she said exactly what us and a lot of people on the internet said, that she came with the governor.
Yeah.
You know, but Daryl had a good point too, and was just like, you know, but you weren't really one of them.
So you think it's a fake out, just her whole story arc coming full circle, you know, thinking that she's obviously getting ready to die, but she's not really getting ready to die.
I mean, I feel like she would have died overnight.
It's hard to say. I mean, she didn't have like a super deep wound. I mean, it would definitely get her, but I don't think
Tara's going to turn just yet.
But yeah, I was just thinking, you know, like 2 different times people were talking to Rick about his head wound. I'm just thinking, you know, are they trying to tell us, worry about Rick? Something. But,
yeah, we know, not saying Rick can't die, but we know that Rick's not going to die in that way. It's just not going to happen. We also see Morgan seeing another instance where the Walking Dead's creators have kind of put a ghost, per se, not a real ghost, but a ghost in someone's mind. We saw it back with, remember, Tyrese in one of what I thought was the best episodes they'd had in a while back when it came out. Yeah. You know, Tyrese is passing, and now we see another ghost, and Morgan's just kind of really battling with this whole am I not evil, but am I a killer, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to describe the conflict going on in his head. I get it, but I don't know quite how to describe it. He's kind of battling with who he is, I guess, and how his actions are affecting what others are doing. And
I guess that's what's going to send him down to Texas. But Morgan, just remember, you can't run from yourself. That's the one thing you can't do. Your problems are going to find you, pal. Yeah,
sadly, you know, you have to travel with yourself. And it was I guess it's cool to see Gavin again. He was never really, I mean, I kind of empathize for him a little bit because I feel like he was one of the few saviors that just truly didn't want to do all of this, but knew that this was pretty much the life this is how he was going to survive, you know, where some saviors seem to really just dive into the role of villains. I feel like Gavin was just the one that was like, come on, man, just give us your stuff. So, because that's what he told King Ezekiel, was like, man, I didn't want this to happen. I liked you. You got it. You cooperated, and you know, I don't want to do this to you.
Yeah, Gavin's like the night manager at a 7-Eleven. You know, he's doing his job. He doesn't want to be there. It's never what he set out to do with his life, but nonetheless, he's got a job to do, and he's going to do it.
That's a great way to put that. You have a great way of putting things into perspective.
Then, yeah. And I've hung out in a lot of 7-Elevens, so you know.
No doubt. So looking through, I'm, kind of looking through it at what all happened this episode. It just was such a action-packed, and it's apparently, I didn't even realize it was an extended episode. I'm sitting there watching. It went by
so quick. Yeah. Like I said, man, I love the siege. I didn't like you. I don't think Simon's tactics were really, like, I would have starved him out. And I said that when Daryl and everyone had the sanctuary surrounded. Just starve them out, you know. You don't have to do anything. I mean, they're not going anywhere. Obviously, they have limited supplies. I guess eventually they would have started cannibalizing their POWs in there, but apparently Simon didn't give a crap about them anyway. So
I just feel like them creeping up the middle was just kind of stupid.
Just
but I mean, they're not
the gate and trying to get through the gate in the first place. I'd have just been like, let them seal themselves up in there. You know, we got nothing but time.
We're the saviors.
I mean, they didn't know that Rick and his boys were, you know, out there getting ready to, you know, smash them in the middle. But
Daryl being a badass with the bike and the little, what was that, like a submachine gun?
Yeah, it's good to see Daryl back in action, man. Hadn't seen him doing anything wild since that car chase. You remember where him and
just when we first got introduced to the saviors, right?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, you know, when they got in that tussle, the guy had the torque gun at the back of the thing.
Oh yeah, that was the first half of the season. Right? Yeah. Was that the first half? Yeah, because that's when he loses his cool and goes and rams. Yeah, it was really good to see Jerry again.
Yeah,
I like Jerry. Yeah. I hope they don't do the thing where they basically just start focusing in on him right before they kill him.
Oh man, that would,
because I really like Jerry, man. He's a cool character. I mean, I can see he's one of those characters. While he's awesome, he's not really someone that I guess unless they. I don't know how to say that. I'm going to backtrack and just not say that, because I was going to say I don't think that Jerry would be very interesting if he was a mainstay and that was who you had to follow around the whole show, but he's cool in little bits. But then again, I don't know. I mean, if you could write if you had a good writer on the case, you probably could give Jerry some cool backstory or just really give him some kind of cool story going forward.
Yeah, give him a chance to grow. Who knows? It's good to see Ezekiel kind of picking back up his Shakespearean tongue, but without going too overboard with it. Yeah. He's not going into these long, what do you call them, like soliloquies? Would that even be the right? Is that a poem? I don't know. But anyway, you know what I'm saying.
Not giving these long poetic speeches
these
like
big monologues.
Yeah. I think he realizes now that, he can die. I think before he just thought, we've got this. And then everyone pretty much died, and he's like, holy crap, okay. Yep. So, and kind of lost himself there for a bit, but it's good to see him coming back. And I like King Ezekiel. I really do. Some people are really annoyed by his talk, and I think the guy that plays him, man, does such a good job.
Oh, yeah, out of this world.
You see him on the Talking Dead couch, and he's just, just shows you what a good actor he is. But and now we've got Sadiq trying to connect with Rick. I know that's got to be an awkward relationship between them.
Too soon, Sadiq.
It's like, no, Sadiq essentially didn't get Carl killed because he didn't make Carl do anything. No. Carl did everything voluntary, so it's not Sadiq's fault. But, Sadiq's got to feel some level of responsibility for Carl's death. And then there's Rick, the badass guy that's run you off like a stray dog several times.
Yeah.
And he tries to, what he should have done, man, he was like, I could treat your wound. And Rick's just like, have at thee, whatever.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there, and Sadiq tries to, and that's where the title of the episode comes from, is the prayer that Sadiq tells Rick. And Rick's just like, man, don't, like, you should have treated the wound, but kind of just eased your way into that relationship.
Yeah,
Rick's going through a lot.
Not the time and place for that conversation.
Right. Rick's just lost his son. He's going through a lot.
Yeah,
don't try to force that on him just yet. Let him. You got to take it easy. But like I said, I like Sadiq. I hate that Carl had to die for the character, and really don't feel. Because we didn't know him that well. But nonetheless, he could be a good character. We'll see where they take him. And let's get back real quick to something I wanted to talk about that's not even on this episode.
Oh boy,
Jadis,
yeah.
Did you see the sneak peek of next week's episode?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, man, I'll have to show it to you after the podcast. Okay, so we see how Jadis survives the scavengers assault. I thought that she had just... and if you don't... This was shown on TV, so this is... It's a spoiler, but it's not. They gave it to you, it's scenes from next week's The Walking Dead. Mm-hmm. So if you don't want to see scenes and you try to, if you don't want to know, then tune out for like a couple of minutes and come back. But I'll tell you, because like I said, you can find this on YouTube.
Sure.
But so we see Jadis, how I thought they had left her alive on purpose, but it makes sense that she would have had to have faked her death because, Simon wouldn't want to leave anyone alive that could, that from there that could rat him out. But so basically she fakes her death by covering herself in blood and laying there like she's dead. It's pretty cool, actually.
Right.
She does a really good job of faking her death. And then it just kind of shows you why she's wearing the white dress and, because she's wearing that kind of up under her thing. So we see, and then it shows her with a whole new look. She's got like a button-up shirt with sleeves rolled up. Her hair's pulled back in a ponytail, and she's got Negan's bat, sitting in like her little room. It's a container, I guess, she's created to be her kind of, personal room.
Lucille did survive.
But I was about to.
But yeah, that episode, I thought Simon left her alive too, just as kind of like, like look at the mess you made. Just let her own people come to life and eat her.
Yeah, one of those fates worse than death.
Right, right.
But no, I really hope they don't just kill her off. She's finally getting interesting. For a while, the scavengers to me were just annoying and really kind of pointless. Like, hey, let's just throw another set of characters that we don't really have time or effort to write. And now with Jadis kind of seeing that she does talk normal, please don't just up and kill her. Make her a villain, make her an ally. Maybe she joins up with Negan. Who knows? But it's an interesting character. Let's not do that cliche thing of focusing really hard on a character just to turn around and kill him.
I know there's been something going on between Ezekiel and Carol, but I think Ezekiel and Jadis would make a power couple. I think they're both artsy. I'd like to see it. And I'm not just saying an odd couple. I'm picturing them naked in my head. I'm just seeing I think they'd make a good couple. They both have their peculiar ways of speech.
Yeah, I can deal with King Ezekiel's speech way better than the garbage people's. Yeah, but that's just me, man. Some people really don't like
pronouns and conjunctions. So,
Yeah, I just feel like I don't know that I could take King Ezekiel seriously, but I could listen to him talk more than I can Jadis. But yeah, so I know that's kind of last week and next week's episode, because I think that's what that's going to be focused on, is showing you how she survived and then how she captured Negan.
Oh boy, so it's going to be kind of like a segue episode where we're not really in the moment of what's going
we're kind of going
on.
back. I really hope that the flashback will just be like the beginning. Maybe the first couple of minutes.
That'll
but
probably be most of the episode.
Don't do this.
Yeah.
We've got 2 episodes that have just been balls to the wall, and I think the majority of everyone that we've heard from, the majority seem to really enjoy these past 2 episodes. So let's not slow it down.
Yeah, keep it flowing.
Like, I'm really hoping that what they'll do is they will go back to show you how she survived, how she captured Negan, and then we'll move forward from there. If that's the case, then I'm cool with that. Just don't go back and spend a whole hour showing how she survived and how she made her way to Negan.
Give us like flashbacks between her interacting with Negan, whatever she might be doing with him. Ooh.
But it was cool to hear them mention, back to Tara and Daryl, it was cool to hear them mention, the governor. I think, what is it? His, it's the first time he's been mentioned since What Happened and What's Going On was the name of the episode. But yeah, Merle Dixon was mentioned. How awesome was that, man?
Oh,
Daryl mentions Merle. We all miss Merle.
Took me back to a certain time and place, I know.
He was an asshole, but he was enjoyable to watch.
It's like Archie Bunker, just the lovable racist guy that, you just...
Lovable and racist.
Yeah,
I think you can put those 2 words together.
Not often, but
everybody... Merle was just an enjoyable... that's a good comparison.
Man, All in the Family, that would be a great show to podcast. We'd be a little late on it.
Merle, according to the Walking Dead wiki page, Merle hasn't been mentioned since the episode called Twice as Far.
Huh.
But I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we're... man, there are so many opportunities, and maybe I'm going to do them because I laughed so hard. Like, you could do some good bad lip readings of this past episode. Did you see that? I loved when everyone was honking their car horns, and it gets to Daryl, and it's just kind of like, crap, air horn.
Yeah.
It's like, beep. Oh, man, I got a good laugh at that. It's just like Daryl's like, I got an air horn. And then I've got a couple. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll take a few scenes, cut the audio, and put in our own voiceover. I mean, I don't want to copy bad lip reading too bad, but for The Walking Dead, man, I saw several opportunities. And I just caught myself doing it. Let me mention, I know that I say the word man a lot. So one commenter, which he said I had a radio pukey voice. I think that a radio pukey voice is kind of like this. I wouldn't imagine that. I don't think I talk that bad, but maybe I do. Who knows? But nonetheless, he said that I say man a lot, and he is he or she, absolutely right. You could go back to the old podcast and make a drinking game out of every time I say man. So I've said it several times this episode. I'm trying to catch myself.
Yeah,
so
you're always, we all have crutch words.
Maybe we'll make that a going thing every time I say man. We'll all have to take a shot, and the podcast will just get progressively
I would like that very much.
Frappier towards the end.
It's a little early in the morning to be getting shit-faced, but hey.
And by the way, we apologize for the late episode. We had, if you keep up with racing, you'll see that the Martinsville Speedway race got snow. We got a lot of snow Saturday night, and then it was gone by Sunday afternoon. But it was a lot at one time, and they canceled the Martinsville Speedway race. And for the station, we have to be there and kind of cover it.
Yeah.
So I love you all to death, so much more than you'll understand. But after getting up at 4 o'clock and then being there all day and then not even getting home till 8 o'clock, I just wanted to go lay on the couch. The thought of coming into the studio and having to form thoughts and words just...
It made for a long day, that darn race. Yeah, it did.
Yeah, so I'm letting Matt know. Matt's got a lot of things he needs to get off his chest when we call him.
Yeah, so it seems.
So we're going to be calling him. I'm letting him know that we're calling in.
No, you're calling him right this second?
In just a second. Not right this second, but very shortly. Let me see. Okay, so he's got the notification. I'm going to wait for the okay. I had to send him a text. We should never text in podcast, but it's part of the podcast. So I got to make sure that because he said to let him know so he could go out to the car because his father's still in physical therapy. So that's where Matt is today. But let's see. Is there anything else? Maggie really kind of trying to determine what kind of a leader she's going to be in this episode. Is she going to be driven by revenge or driven by her, want to protect her people? Because, she had that nice conversation about basically saying, my only regret is that Negan's not in that pile of bodies. Like, she basically just wants to, she wanted to bring Negan to her husband's grave and let it be the last thing that he ever saw. And Maggie's realized, and she talks to the homeboy that, forgive me for not knowing his name, but I think this is the only time I ever saw him.
Yeah.
But basically tells her, that she's a good leader and she cares about people and yada, yada, yada. So a lot of moral conflict going on with Maggie.
That's true. She's got a lot on her plate right now. We didn't talk about the jailbreak, did we?
No, I was going to get there and I got sidetracked by something else. So Benjamin's little brother kind of taking me back to when Carl would do stupid stuff. And we're like, no, Carl, get back in the damn house. Go back in the prison. But going out to kill, he was looking for Jared, but he was, going to kill the guy Jared that killed his brother, and that didn't work out quite the way he thought it was going to.
It didn't work out one bit. Jeez.
What is Carol and kids, man?
Yeah, and who's just
worst
leaving
nanny
the key
ever?
To the one key to the padlock that keeps all the saviors in the kennel.
Yeah.
Who's just leaving that laying around? Come on.
And when Maggie's like, if you go out there, you're going to die. I'm like, Carol and kids, man. I mean, she's a realist, but worst nanny ever. No, she is. Okay, and here's something else I'll go back and check on the last one. Angela Kang, the new showrunner for next season, co-wrote this episode.
Oh, nice.
So this is another episode we see that she's written. She also wrote my least favorite episode ever, one of the Daryl and Beths in the moonshine in the cabin. We've talked about it. But on the flip side, she's written some of my favorite episodes, so... I'm excited to see
I think this has been one of the best episodes just series-wide so far. I was really impressed with this one.
Yeah, I really, really liked it. I'm trying to think. Like I said, Maggie's moral conflict. Morgan, a lot happened this episode.
You think
Morgan has all of this moral conflict. Maggie's got a lot of moral conflict. One could argue the whole show is a moral conflict, but
Simon has no moral conflict.
Simon's like kill 'em all.
Yeah.
I believe Simon would have been best to be the governor's right-hand man. In an alternate universe, that would have been cool to see where Simon makes his way to the governor or vice versa, and then Simon ends up being the governor's right-hand man.
They wouldn't have had much to argue about, that's for sure.
Kill them all. Okay. But I think that's kind of bringing us to the end, so it's time, I suppose, for Matt's Minute. Let me see if he's texted me back and told me that he's ready. Oh, that's actually what his text said, ready.
Nice.
So let's give him a call and see how he felt about this episode.
He's got to be feeling better than he did last week.
Oh, one could hope. Hello. How is physical therapy going for your father, Matt?
I think it's good. I have to roll my eyes every time because he comes out of it saying, "Ooh, they worked me hard today," and I'm like, "Dad, I don't think you understand what you're saying."
Oh, so Matt, the question on everyone's mind, how did you feel about Sunday night's episode?
Okay, just real quick, before I say how I felt about last night's episode, I think I gave last week. I still wasn't a fan of last week's episode. I didn't think it was great as everybody was making it. But maybe I should have paid more attention to the episode because people made some valid points about how, you've been asking for this and you want to see this and this, and they're starting to give us that. So, yes, they start going in the right direction. Still don't think it. Have you read any? I went through the comments and I found I got a lot of hate for not appreciating last week's episode, and I made a list. Are you ready? Here we go.
I'm ready.
Scrapbook Fashionista Designs by Rena said, OMG, this was the top voted one. OMG, can Matt stay at physical therapy forever? No question mark, just that was a statement, but it sounded like a question, so I was very confused. Sorry, Matt, you annoy me with your TWD hate. Fair enough, Scrapbook Fashionista. Miss Bubs for fun. Matt just being a hater. Valid point. Brianne McCann. Matt is the Debbie Downer on your podcast. Clearly, he has no taste in what makes a good episode. Sorry, Matt, disappointed me in this one. I'm sorry for disappointing you, Brianne. Matt was a disappointment to his parents. That was actually my dad for that one. I don't even know how he got a YouTube account. Jay Cisneros says, how's about Matt's last minutes? I was like, oh, man, the way that he wrote that, it sounds like he's got a New York accent. How's about Matt's last minutes, huh? Tyler Skywalker Grimes said, Matt is a hater. Laugh my ass off, or LMAO, whatever it is. The Big Enchilada, this made me feel good. Matt sounds super hot on the phone. Thank you, Big Enchilada. Blix said, yeah, Matt, stupid predictions. Do you even watch the show? Your opinions are wrong. Best episode this season, and you know it. Change your opinion or we will unsub. All right, listen, I don't know who put Blix in charge, but you guys need to get it together. All right? Get it together. Savage Rick, we go way back. He said, Matt, quit hating. The episode was great. So I think that's Tony the Tiger.
He said that while eating a bowl of Frosted Flakes, and that's what happened.
Jay Smith said, why does Matt even watch the show if he hates every single episode? It sucked to hear him talk shot about every single episode. And I didn't think I was talking shot. I don't talk that much shot. Monica Costa, all right, I'm going to say it like it was written because it's in Spanish, I think. Ese episodio 12 tem dublado, which I don't speak Spanish, but I'm pretty sure it means something like Matt's an idiot or something like that. Finally, Catch 21 Run said, this was the saddest one of all. Shut up, Matt. That's all it said. Because they have a little icon, and it appears they're a Flash fan. And I've let down a fellow Flash fan, and that's the worst feeling of all.
How do you sleep at night? How have you slept between then and now?
Shot of Rumpelmans and some NyQuil.
That sounds...
And 5 pillows, because I gotta have a lot of pillows.
Okay. Imagine a few body pillows in there? Nice.
Just one. All right, so the episode, I rate it, because I was telling you the other day, yesterday actually, that it's going back to its roots. It felt like the part in the house, it was dark and the zombies were waking up biting people. It really felt like the olden days, you know?
The olden days.
So, are we still going by the star system?
Yes, we are.
All right, I'm going to say 3.75 stars.
Man, I'm glad you're not here to draw that, because that would be really, really weird to draw.
You just have to draw the shape outline and then just color it in.
Oh, okay. That's a good way to do it. Okay.
Probably use a protractor or something.
So we're going to say almost 4 stars, which is the highest rating you've given an episode in quite a while.
I don't know if it's Angela King that's responsible. I don't know I hope it's her, because, once they bring her in, they're starting to go up. I'm liking the direction that they're going. This was a really good episode. I enjoyed it. It felt like the episodes from the beginning of the series. And that's what a lot of people have been missing.
She did co-write this episode, so maybe a taste of things to come.
Get it, Angela. Proud of her.
Well, this has been Matt's Minute. Matt, thank you so much for joining us. Give Papa Dos our well wishes, and
Absolutely. Yeah, man. I'm tired of offices and hospitals. Everything smells like hand sanitizer and old people, so it's different.
JP finds those pretty enjoyable, right?
Sometimes I do. I was going to say, Matt, have you kind of changed your bumped it up the scale a little bit because you've gotten death threats or anything? Has anyone threatened your family?
Oh, no threats. And I stand by it. I don't think last week was great. I'm not going to change my opinion on that. However, I will say that people have made some valid points on how maybe I did hate on it a little too much. And it's made me start to question, what have I expected from the show? It's like the child that you have that's like, he's going to be a C or a D student most of his life, but maybe he'll get like a nice, lawnmower business or something started. Who knows? But so you're proud of them, but to the point where it's like, I have to be.
No.
Okay.
As long as no one's threatened you with violence, we were a little concerned.
No.
Yeah, we got you back. Well, Matt, we'll see you very soon, but you will see the listeners next week.
Oh boy, that's exciting.
All right, man. We will see you soon.
Okay, bye guys.
All right, and before we wrap it up, we have 2 things to do. Number 1. I was going to go with here earlier, but like always, I got sidetracked. Especially, I'm so tired. Like, I can't really think. But the little brother of Benjamin, where do you think he is? Do you think he's dead? I mean, I know he's gone, but do you think he's dead?
I think we all kind of hope he's dead just because, he ain't nothing but trouble. But I don't know.
Do you think that, because we saw him fall, do you think he's a zombie now? Because they've only shown like a few kid zombies, right? Or I know they showed the one before Sam got eaten, which was, another time Carol told a kid, if you go out, the monsters are going to, and they did.
I think the escaped savior snatched him up and brought him to Simon as, their one bit of leverage.
Oh, yeah, Jared probably. That's something douchey that Jared would have done because Jared's...
I could see maybe something like that going down.
Jared's a douche.
Yeah, he's not my favorite person either.
I really like... He's one of those characters. No, I don't want to see his story. I don't want to see where you can go with him. Just kill him. He's just, he's an asshole. All right, well, JP, let's get to it.
Okay.
I'm sitting here trying to look up something as I'm talking to you. All right, ready? Go. Okay, that's right. All right, let's see. Wow, I gave it 4.5 stars. JP gives it a complete 5 stars.
I'm going all the way, baby. I can't think of anything to really gripe about.
Right.
I really can't.
It was an enjoyable episode. I feel like if they could keep up this kind of... And it's not so much all the action, it's just the tension. It's the going back to not knowing what's going to happen and, that sense of dread. Like when you saw the clock kind of going down, you know what I mean? When you showed the grandfather clock and then they showed the time change, and it just was this like looming sense of dread. And I remember having that when I was watching the season 6 finale on who Negan was going to kill, which of course we didn't find out. But that's what I think makes this show, is just having that sense of something terrible is about to happen, and you're just kind of in your seat like, oh God, how's this going to play out? And I think that's why I love this episode so much.
No, it was great. I think the ship has finally righted itself.
You think so? You think that they've redeemed themselves?
2 episodes, really, really good.
And then the Jadis Negan episode's going to suck.
I know.
I hope it doesn't. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that's knowing my luck. That's what's going to happen.
If it's all one big flashback, then that's going to suck. But
yeah. Well, I think this kid's name is Henry, by the way. I think we kept calling him Benjamin's little brother. Henry is his name.
Good, strong name.
Yeah, Henry for a weak, dumb kid. But, so we're going to see how that plays out. Let's see, is there anything else left to cover? I think we've talked about most of it. We're slowly seeing maybe this is kind of what I'm thinking. Henry's going to die, and that's going to drive Morgan to realize that, his actions and have consequence. As far as he's going to feel responsible because he taught him how to he was teaching Benjamin the whole stick thing and kind of working with his brother. So he's going to feel, and that's what's going to make him kind of want to go off.
Yeah.
Kind of like on Lost when Sadiq tortured Sawyer and just, was like, I don't want to be that kind of person. And he had to leave the group to go kind of find himself, be on his own for a while. So maybe that's kind of what we're going to have with Morgan. Who knows?
Who knows?
I'm pretty excited to go to the theaters, though, and watch the finale.
Yeah, I'm stoked for that as well. Survival Sunday.
And we've definitely got we've gotten well over 2,000 subscribers now. We're up to like 2,500, which is super exciting. And I remember being excited when we got to 100 subscribers, just thinking it was the coolest thing ever. Now up to 2,500 and still going. So if you're new, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like for more content. And we're going to give away at the end of the season, we are going to give away a little Negan prize package. Thus far, we do have a copy of Here's Negan to give you, and also a Negan replica bat, and it's made of foam, so you could act. I wouldn't recommend you do this, but if you beat the crap out of someone with it, it's less likely that they're going to suffer serious injury.
Yeah, just don't soak it in a bucket of blood and guts.
Right.
Being foam, it'll really mushy and gushy, and
Yeah. But so we've got that and maybe a couple of other goodies. So in the next few episodes, we're going to be doing a giveaway. Promise. We've mentioned that several times, and it's. When we have with regular jobs, JP has 2 of them.
Yeah.
Matt does as well. So sometimes, we want to do things and we get all revved up for it, but then we realize we got to have money. So we kind of have to put our other jobs first. But we are going to do a giveaway, by golly. We're going to make it happen.
Next week, we'll be discussing the Walking Dead issue. I can't remember the number of the issue, but it's a new Walking Dead. So
Yeah. I should know that, but I think it's just because I'm so tired from the Speedway.
Yeah, and at some point, we're going to talk about some other Image stuff. Oblivion Song and Futch. What's the other one?
Gideon Falls.
Gideon Falls, right.
We'll do that this week.
Yeah, we've been meaning to do that as well.
We'll do that this week, I promise.
Lots of good Image stuff is coming out.
They're my favorite right now.
Yeah.
Right now, I dare say that Image Comics are my favorite company in comics. Not taking anything away. DC's been on fire for the last couple of months. I've really enjoyed DC. Marvel's got some pretty good titles. Just depends, I guess, on what you're reading and who's writing it. But
most of my favorite stuff is coming from Marvel, but I did have to axe some titles. Just like the political undertones, man. They're always trying to push something, and you're just like, I see what you're doing.
Right.
And
Like,
I'm
I
not
just wanna read
saying I'm on
adventures.
one side or the other. I'm just saying keep your politics out of my comics. You know?
Oh, and if somebody agree, even if they agree, I just want to read a comic.
That's
Even
what
if
I'm
they
saying.
agree with my politics, I don't want to. I see enough of that on Facebook. I mean, right now,
Yeah.
especially with like the gun debate, every time I get on Facebook, it's like I just want to read comics where superheroes beat the crap out of bad guys.
Yeah, I mean, don't
throw the
get me
politics
wrong.
in there.
I enjoy, things that are socially relevant, but it's just when you take such a hard line on one
Right.
side or the other, I'm just like,
Yeah, I feel you. I like I said, right now I'm just like an image. I'm kind of tired of the superhero thing, and I'm not saying I'm not still subscribing to titles, and there aren't still good ones out there. But me personally, I've just kind of gotten to the point where I'm looking for something a little different. Like I really dig Moonshine. I'm glad that came back.
yeah, I got 2 issues. I need to read them.
Really good. I could definitely see that being like a AMC show or
Oh yeah,
something, or HBO would be awesome just because it's about a werewolf, so they
yeah.
could do so much.
Bring back that guy from True Blood. I don't remember
Yep.
his name.
Gideon Falls is seeming all creepy as hell, and you know we've got Oblivion Song. Did I say Oblivion Falls again?
I'm not sure.
Gideon Falls, Oblivion Song. So it's a lot coming from Image that I'm just really digging right now. Really different stuff, but that's just me. We'll definitely discuss that on a separate podcast.
And any comic books you'd like to hear us review,
Yeah.
put it in the comments section.
If you're a comic book person, please put that in the comments section, and we would, love to start a whole, we do some comic podcasts, but I mean, if we knew that there are a lot of comic book readers out there that definitely want that, we are more than happy to deliver.
Between the two of us, we have one mighty strong pull list.
Yeah, we do.
So, yeah.
It's really affecting my life.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's going to wrap it up for this podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, if you're new, please subscribe, comment, like. Do you forgive Matt now? Comment below, especially if he commented on your comment. Let's just go deeper into the inception and comment on his comment on your comment.
Boom.
Bam. We're going to be back next week before with comics, but we'll be back for next week's episode of the Podcasting Dead, and I promise you that I will be. I think JP was fine. I will be more awake. I am so tired.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to lay on my futon and take a nap. But we'll see you next week. I'm Justin.
And I'm JP.